Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vase. Still here at ForkFest. Today is the last day. Everyone is wrapping up. Everyone is heading out, and I'm here with Patrick, the Bitcoin motorist, one of the admins on this YouTube channel, who helped put together this event. You put together the speaker list. How was it this year? This is your what? Like probably sixth ForkFest, seventh?
No, actually, it's my third PorkFest, but it's the first year that I'm actually helping to plan the event. So I just wanted to tell a quick story. When I came to my first PorkFest back in 2017, this was June of 2017. This is right before the Bcash split, and I remember Chris Pacia was up there giving a speech on Bitcoin scaling, and he was saying all these negative things about SegWit, and everybody was just buying it, and there was nobody there to stand up and to give a counterpoint. So I was pretty frustrated a couple of years ago. So I reached out to you, Tone, to come to last year's PorkFest, and you came and you had a debate with Chris Pacia last year, which was okay. It went well. And then this year they actually asked me to help plan the event. So I wanted to make sure to get Tone, and I reached out to some other Bitcoin standard bearers, Bitcoin, whatever you want to call them, maximalists, to try to be here and balance out all the shitcoiners that are here. And Tone did come. I did. So you were on a panel which I put together. I'm very proud of that panel because that panel went really well. Fireworks went. It wasn't as balanced as I would like. I know you can hold your own, but it was you with Jeffrey Tucker and Chris Pacey and Vin Armani, and Naomi Rockwell was leading the panel, and there was a guy on there, Yuri Polozov was also on there. I know him personally from here in New Hampshire, so I wanted to try to get it as balanced as possible.
Yeah, Naomi put up the video on her YouTube channel, so you can check that out right here. This is the video. Maybe I should cross-post it to my YouTube channel. I gotta ask her to send me the full video. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. This is the video of that panel. There I am right there wearing one of my favorite shirts, the shitcoin shirt. Wore it specifically for this video as well. There it is. There's Chris Pacia, there's Jeffrey Tucker, Vin Armani, and
Yuri Polozov.
So Yuri is he's a developer, he's a cryptographer.
Yeah, he's a cybersecurity expert. He gave a talk here at PorkFest on Tuesday, which was the first day, on securing your Bitcoins. So he's like a blockchain security, cybersecurity expert.
All right, very cool. Yeah, so go ahead and check out that video. Hey man, so you're on Twitter a lot, you're on YouTube a lot, and here's something that someone said to me the other day, and I'm like, wow, you are so right. Like I've been here before, Dash used to have a presence. They used to sponsor, Bitcoin Cash. You see Ethereum everywhere. Here's what I've never actually seen. Ripple people. The Ripple army seems to be only on the internet. I don't think there are actual humans involved here, because I've never seen, like, other than Ripple, like corporate people in suits, I've never seen like Ripple fans at events of all the events I go to. They don't exist. There's no Ripple hats. There's no Ripple T-shirts. There's no like Ripple I don't know if there are humans out there, and they're only on the internet trolls. There's like 3 guys with like 800 or 8,000 Twitter accounts.
That's an amazing thing that you just said, because I never even thought about that, because there's a huge Ripple army online, and I block most of them on Twitter. And I do the same thing with the BSV people, but I'll give the BSV people some credit. I
know they exist.
I know they're here. I know I met a couple of BSV people.
I know those people exist.
Yeah, exactly.
I've personally spoken to them. I know some of them from before, even the Bcash split. So I know BSV people exist, but I don't think I'm not sure Ripple people exist, only on the internet.
Yeah, and you can tell that because a lot of their tweets don't make sense. Like I've heard these stories about somebody tweeting something about Ripple, and it wasn't even negative, but because it's some kind of an algorithm picked up that they were being removed from an exchange, and it wasn't an exchange. They started like attacking them. Why'd you remove us from your exchange? And blah blah blah. But.
Oh, and a shout out to Julia Turianski.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
So Julia has been like trying to convince me to come to PorkFest for like 3 or 4 years straight, and then I finally start coming, and she's not around.
And she
anymore.
stopped. Exactly.
Hey Julia, if you're watching.
Yep.
I might run into you in Texas.
Julia was actually at the first PorkFest that I went to, so she was at the 17th PorkFest, and I think I may have bought this shirt from her then. I either bought it from her at the PorkFest or I bought it from her at an Acapulco. I don't remember which. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add? I know you still have to do some work
No,
around
yeah, I got to
here
get
and
back to
pack up.
work. I got to get back to work. Unfortunately, we are packing up and everything. So I'm so glad you came down, Tone, and hopefully we'll see you again next year. You're definitely welcome back next year if you want to come. And follow me on Twitter. I'm at Bitcoin Motorist on Twitter. And I'll catch you later, Tone.
Yeah. Thanks. Gotta get your mic.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. There you go. You got
Sorry.
it. And yeah, thanks again. And hey, keep banning the trolls on Twitter. Good
Will do.
on Twitter on my YouTube
On your
channel as
stream.
admin.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, man. All right, gonna unplug the second mic. All right, let's take a look at some price action. I'm actually texting my group of lawyers right now. We may try to get a law show in tonight. I gotta fly out to San Francisco tomorrow morning, so I may be free tonight, even though there's work to be done. So, but I haven't done a law show in ages. I don't know if I'll have time to like really plan it, but hopefully, if a few of the lawyers are around. I was hanging out with Preston here, him and his mermaids, and yeah, maybe I gotta try to get him on the show as well. All right, guys, let's look at the charts. I know a lot of you are waiting. Where are they? Here they are. Come on. What's going on? There we go. And but yeah, check out this panel. It was good. It's on Naomi's channel, Naomi Brockwell. She'll be at Bitcoin 2019 in San Francisco, where I'm headed to next. I'll be a speaker there as well. Why are we not going to the channel here? I'm not sure why it's not going there. But anyway, let's look at the price. We're pulling back a little bit. The big question now is this candle really ran away from us. And I don't even know what day today is. Today is Sunday. So, oh, I thought today was Monday. I should change the title of the video. So this candle is about to end. This candle will end in, actually, no, the title of the video is still good. Now, we have about 10 hours to go before this candle closes. And if this candle pulls back, there's two critical points. I don't actually think 10,000 is that critical of a point. It should be psychologically critical, but clearly psychology doesn't seem to apply in the world of crypto. And so the line in the sand is the Fibonacci line. Now, if Bitcoin pulls all the way back and closes below the Fibonacci line, that's disastrous. Well, it's not really disastrous, but that would be a huge indication of a more significant pullback. If we close below this Fibonacci line today, if we pull all the way back and we form the mother of all shooting star candles, what I'm saying is if this week's candle ends up looking something like this candle of February 18th, and it closes in the vicinity or below the Fibonacci line, I will see that as very, very bearish. If we can close at current levels or higher, I will see that as pretty damn bullish. So I am going to watch this close very, very carefully, because if we can close as a green 2 above a green 1 without a shadow that's longer than the body, so without this pullback nature at the end of the candle, that sets us up for more upside. For me personally, I am expecting prices to slow down at 13,000 at the next Fibonacci, at the 62% Fibonacci line, which is at 13,346. You can see that right there. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, for my perfect trade, for my perfect, another selling piece of my hodl because it's rising unreasonably to the upside, I would want that to be a weekly 9 and the reversal candle at the Fibonacci. Now, obviously, that can't happen if we rise $1,500 next week, because then we're hitting that line on a green 3. So for me, I need the combination of price and time for a perfect trade, and preferably with a reversal candle. Or I need one of these giant chart patterns like this descending triangle was. Now, there is absolutely no chart pattern. Whoa, hold on. I'm not sure what I did here. There is absolutely no chart pattern that helps me as a trader. Helps me as a trader. I mean, like, everyone trades in different styles, but there's no chart pattern that helps me as a trader that would have allowed me to get into this big bullish run, because I would have needed something like an ascending triangle on a large scale time frame, daily, but preferably weekly, in order to take advantage of the opposite of this big drop from 6 down to 3. I didn't have one of these. I mean, this was close, but it wasn't a triangle that I wanted. So that's why I wasn't able to properly time the big jump to the upside. But that's okay, because over my career of trading, I've learned to be patient, and patience usually pays off in a good way. So I'm not that worried. But those that have no Bitcoin are probably in a little bit of a panic. And my advice to them is stay patient, don't panic. We talked about that yesterday with Tyler. So what can I say about the weekly candle right now? Right now it's bullish, but this week's close will matter greatly, because we have just fallen from what? 11.2 down. Well, the daily chart might be more useful here. We have fallen from 11.2. Since we hit 11.2, we have fallen down to, let's say, 10.5. So we have pulled back $700. And we did that in the last 12 hours, is my best guess. Let me go to the 12-hour chart. So there is 7.2. And yeah, so from high of 7.2 to a low of, yeah, the low could have set in first. Okay. So, and the low here, there it is, right? So from a high of 11.2 down to a low of 10.5, we did that in approximately 12 hours, maybe 16 hours, right? So we still have about 10 hours to go. So it's not unrealistic to see Bitcoin fall another, $500 from the low, which puts you right at 10K. Now, the Fibonacci line, as you guys know, is $500 below that. So the chances of going all the way down and closing below the Fibonacci line are actually pretty small. But pulling back halfway between current prices and the Fibonacci level is reasonable. And if that happens, this candle kind of sort of puts you in the middle of nowhere. It's a borderline reversal candle, but it's still closed, 5% above the Fibonacci line, right? So 9.4 over to 10K, that's $500 on a $10,000 asset. That's about 5%. So closing 5% above the Fibonacci line is pretty bullish. But if the shadow of that candle is greater than the body of that candle, then that's bearish. Now, the TD sequential on a weekly scale is, of course, bullish, with a green 2 above a green 1 above a 9, but you are starting to once again continue to push boundaries by running into a third consecutive 9. Now, you did break the setup trend line, which is also bullish, and all of your moving averages are rising, with the shorter above the intermediate, above the long-term moving average. So that is also bullish. So the weekly chart is pretty damn bullish right now, other than make sure the candle itself closes bullish. And to me, as you guys know, the shape of the candle is the most important part of trading. But that's me. You don't have to trade like me. Nobody does. In fact, nobody should. Everyone's trading style should be unique. This is why I don't do subscriptions or follow the leader on what and how I trade. And at the moment, I don't even trade. But eventually I'll start again. But there'll be a lot less videos and definitely a lot less interactions. 12-hour chart coming up on a 9, but it's not a 9 at the high, so it doesn't really mean anything to me. Like, I need a 9 that's at the high. Like this is another example of a 9 that isn't great because it's not at the high. Of course, that's a 12-hour chart. The daily chart is only on a 3. And this is what I mean. This is a borderline reversal candle, but a green 2 above a green 1 above a 9 keeps you in the bullish trade according to the sequential. You also have a countdown moving into a 13. We'll see how that goes. 4-hour chart is this one. The 4-hour chart has turned bearish. Your CMF was very positive. You are overextended above the moving averages. You hit a sequential 13, which may not mean much. You had a lot of red arrows here, right? But you've had a lot of red arrows everywhere because we're continuing to rise. This is the kind of 9 that I like seeing, a 9 at the high. It gives you a nice little pullback. This 9 gave you a nice pullback. There was no follow through, and right here you flipped over. It's in a bearish posture, but your higher time frames are bullish. So maybe it can get you to a 9 today, meet this moving average, and then have one more push higher. Hourly chart isn't helping you at all, though this 9 was very, very nice. I do like the fact that the Bitcoin dominance is improving, but until Bitcoin dominance is at 90% levels, it's not really something that's too interesting to me. But I do like the rise. I like the fact that shitcoins are finally falling. I do have to get out of here. I got a 6 or 7-hour drive back to my other place in the woods. And that's where I'll probably do my podcast later tonight. Nothing's much changed with the leverage. Probably no need to talk about the S&P 500 today. Oh, I should plug my computer in. I'm at 40%. And my battery drains quick because I'm running like a second monitor. Hold on, let me plug this in. By the way, the technology of portable batteries are amazing. This thing will charge my Lenovo in full and your MacBook Pro probably 2 or 3 times. Just this little thing. All right, this looks like Ethereum because the chart looks like crap. And how are you?
How are you?
Live streaming. Have a seat. And Ethereum just looks bad. It's consolidating. It's in a bearish posture. And this is versus Bitcoin. And as you can see, the price of Ethereum is 0.028 Bitcoin. But what's more important to me is the total market cap. And I'm expecting that to be less than 3% across every single altcoin. That matters to me more. It doesn't matter if the total market cap of Bitcoin is 90% or 20%. What matters to me is no single altcoin is more than 3% of Bitcoin's market cap. And we are talking about, coins that people think are being used and not something from the bottom of the list. So if I go to my new favorite website, coinmarketcrap.co. Have you seen this website?
I didn't know that website, no.
Yeah, look.
Hello.
We got fans here.
Coin market crap.
Hello.
Okay.
So this is like CoinMarketCap, which
Yes.
you've seen.
Yes.
But these are all of your other coins, right? So that's Ethereum. That looks like Ripple. That looks like Litecoin. That looks like Bcash, and so on. So what matters to me, right? If I take this number, let's just, we'll round, right? Let's say this is 190, and I divide 190 by, say, 33, right? And so that's what matters to me. So no single altcoin is more than 3%. So what happens when you divide 190 by 33? Well, that's about 3 plus That's about 6, right? So now we're doing approximately, I can just use a calculator. If I do, it's about 15% or something, right? So if I do 33 divided by 190, 17, okay? So Ethereum right now is 17% of Bitcoin. So my view is that over time, Ethereum will become less than 3% of Bitcoin, and everything will as well. So if Ethereum is 17% of Bitcoin, what is the next insanity, right? So now we're going to talk about 20 divided by 190. That's 10%. So this shitcoin is 10% of Bitcoin, and this is 9. So now we go 9, and this is less than 5%, right? So this guy is less than 5% of Bitcoin, and this one will also be less than 5. Now we're getting into 6.7 range, and that's 3.5. And so this is where it ends, right? So this is 5.3. So this is where, that's the cutoff line, right? So right now you have 5 shitcoins that are greater than 3% of Bitcoin's value by market cap. And we can debate market cap, the calculations of them. And my view is that over time, it doesn't matter if Ethereum's market cap goes to 100 billion because people are stupid. The point is that when Ethereum market cap go eventually, even if it is 100 billion, being less than 3% of Bitcoin, that means the Bitcoin's market cap is in the trillions to make sure that Ethereum is less than 3%. And at that point, it doesn't really matter if there are a million shitcoins where cumulatively they are 90% of the crypto network. As long as no individual shitcoin is dominating more than 3% of the Bitcoin market. That's one way to like kill off shitcoins. And the other way is for all of them to just go to zero, right? And then Bitcoin's market cap is actually 90% versus the rest. So Bitcoin market cap doesn't have to be at 90% dominance. Bitcoin market cap could be at 20% dominance. And as long as number 2 through number 85,002 are all less than 3% of Bitcoin's market cap and on the decline. So those are my 2 categories for shitcoin destruction, which is absolutely necessary if you want a real healthy bull market in crypto. Okay, I don't really want to talk about traditional markets because it's the weekend. Maybe I'll save that for tonight or tomorrow. I should have some time tomorrow morning before my flight to San Francisco. So maybe I'll take a look at traditional markets then. Yeah, and these charts have to load because I'm on my own Wi-Fi in the middle of the woods. All right, I can glance at I have about 5 minutes. I can glance at your comments. This looks like the S&P 500, and we are at a new all-time high? We might be. If not, we're close. We're gonna break it. We may run into this resistance of this line, but we're gonna break it. Like I'm bullish the stock market. I always was. All right, we're gonna answer your questions. See if there's anything there that's relevant. No, I'm not gonna look at other shit coins at the moment. I don't really have any thoughts on Moore's law. Yeah, so nothing's changed in like the gold position because it's the weekend. Let's see how things open. The dollar took a big nosedive. The dollar has been acting weird. So here's the thing, right? Here's how you trade the sequential, the kind of stuff that I teach, and with the notification service, the kind of stuff. I mean, this notification service is going to be a major operation, and I need it running because eventually I will start my own hedge fund. Probably a family office. I don't want to manage other people's money. It's just a nightmare. Have fun, Tyler and Leah, but I will just manage my own money. But I need the notification service. So here's a 9. It wasn't a great 9 because A, it wasn't perfected, and B, it wasn't at the high. This candle was. But this 9 led to a 1 to 4 candle correction and then a reversal. So this is where I'm buying the dollar. You can't actually buy the dollar, but I'm bullish the dollar, which means I'm bearish assets priced in the dollar, whether they're other currencies or commodities. And while this trade was working very, very nicely for a week and a half, the tables turned. And now I come to the realization, based on the reality of the situation, because the stock market and any market doesn't have to do what I will it to do. At this point, I have to reverse all of my bullish dollar denominated, I have to reverse the trades that depended on a rising dollar, because this candle takes me out. This candle tells me that this 9 did not give me a 1 to 4 candle correction and then a new upswing. This was just, a failed attempt to go higher. And this is where I exit those trades, hopefully with a profit. And now, since I see a red 3 going below a red 2, I am now entering trades that benefit from a falling dollar, because at this point, I am anticipating the dollar to fall. So you can see how 3 weeks ago, I'm anticipating a top in the dollar. Last week, I'm anticipating a reversal in the dollar. And this week, I have changed my mind on what the dollar is doing. And I am once again a bear on the dollar. And if you're a bear on the dollar, you have to be a bull on assets denominated in dollars, which is foreign currencies like the euro and the pound and gold and oil, and probably not silver, because silver it has its own other problems of people realizing that it doesn't have any more monetary value. So I wouldn't be buying into silver, but I would be considering a gold position if I was actively trading, which I'm actually itching to start doing, but that means the YouTube channel is going to stop. Can you look at XMR? Yeah, I can look at XMR because I have charts of XMR, and then we're going to call it a day, guys. XMR. The last time I looked at XMR is, here it is. And that was in July of last year. Jesus, it's been almost a year. Thank you, TradingView blockchain, which remains more immutable than the Ethereum blockchain. And this one. All right, so we're looking at, I'm looking at Poloniex. I know nobody trades on Poloniex, but it's what we got. If the charts load, which is always a challenge. Oh wow, I'm still using like the old indicators here. Jeez, I need the latest and greatest. I gotta cut all of this out. Invite only scripts. This guy. Apply. I'm not looking at moving averages right now. So Monero versus Bitcoin pair is not looking very good. This is the weekly Monero versus Bitcoin. Come on, I am buying a new computer, guys, even though this is a $3,000 machine that's 2 years old. I just abused the hell out of it. I don't like the look of these candles. I'm going to do it this way. So Monero had a 9. I'm sure this would have shown up in my notification service. But this 9 is not doing anything. So again, a lesson in sequential. this is a 9 that I would consider buying Monero versus Bitcoin. But right now, I would be looking to get out of that trade, preferably at break even or with a tiny profit, because by not reacting to the upside quickly, this has now turned into a consolidation at the low. And a consolidation at the low generally leads to lower prices. So while I would have been bullish on Monero versus Bitcoin 2 weeks ago, I no longer am. So at this point, if there is a Monero trade that I would take on, I would short Monero against Bitcoin at 0.01 Bitcoin. Now, in reality, I would never ever short a shitcoin. But if this wasn't a shitcoin, if this was, let's say, a stock that I didn't feel had a chance of being bought out, I would totally short it. Now, it's already been beaten up enough, and Monero's privacy is starting to get kind of useless with competition like Bean and Grin and Zcash and all the rest. Like, the competition for the anonymity coins is massive, right? Like, Bitcoin is not at risk. Like, Monero was never a competitor to Bitcoin, but Dash and Pivx and Zcash and Bean and Grin, and you want to name a few more? Any more privacy coins I'm missing? Zero Coin and God knows what else is going to come out next week, right? They're all in competition with Monero for privacy. Monero was never in competition with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is on a different level, because Bitcoin is a store of value. Monero is not a store of value. Monero is a transactional currency. Monero is the equivalent of the Venezuelan peso with privacy. Nobody wants to hold it unless you're crazy. So it's never going to retain value. So it's only useful as a transactional currency, just like Bcash, right? It's only useful as a transactional currency if you were convinced that it's cheaper and faster. But no one in their right mind is going to hold it for the long term. And competition for cheaper and faster is everywhere. Competition for privacy is everywhere. But there's no competition for Bitcoin's store of value as the core developers slowly build privacy as a second layer solution, whether it's through wallets, whether it's through soft forks like Schnorr and Bulletproofs, whether it's within the Lightning network, whether it's through the Liquid by moving your Bitcoin through the Liquid sidechain. It doesn't matter. There is like 100 solutions for Bitcoin to have privacy, and none of them involve losing your savings. And that's the difference, right? And this is why Monero will continue to depreciate against Bitcoin over time, and so will every other shitcoin. The sooner you realize it, the sooner you will be happy with your existence. And those that have realized it have generally been happier. Hope that clears up the Monero situation. We can look at Monero versus dollars. Now, Monero versus dollars is rising because, a rising tide of Bitcoin will lift all boats. Once again, I need to update these charts. Now, Monero versus dollars is going to come into a top next in a couple of weeks when we hit a weekly 9. I will flip this quickly to a daily version, though I should get the latest indicator because it's possible that that's an old version that might have been inaccurate. This is why we make updates. Yep, and there it is. Oh, I flipped to the daily version, so thank God. I'm sure it's accurate on a weekly timescale. So the daily version hit a 9. The 9 did not go into a correction, even though it was a 9 followed by a 13. We are now on a green 2 above a green 1 above a 9 with a 4 sequential. Monero is bullish on a daily scale, looking for 6 more days of upside in Monero in US dollars. But if I go back to the weekly version using TD and I flip this to a daily version, it's probably going to be flip-flopping as well. So it'll probably be totally useless, but I want to take a look. And it is totally useless, and it's consolidating at the low. This means that Monero versus Bitcoin is bearish, not because of sequential, but because of the consolidation at the low. Meanwhile, Monero versus the dollar is bullish because it's rising and it's within the sequential, okay? All right, that's it for me, guys. Yeah, that was a good look at Monero. Hope you guys liked my rant about why Monero is useless. I should probably cut that piece out and put it as a standalone video. If I have time for that, I will do it. However, for now, I'm going to have to call it a day. Please check out tonevase.com. I am scaling back on my workshops greatly. I'm going to do an occasional webinar. The next webinar is entries, exits, and stop losses for more for short-term trading than long-term trading, but it's very, very critical. I should probably put up another webinar that's going to take place a week or two later about money management. I would say about 80% of trading is proper entries, exits, and stop losses and money management. And only 20% of your trading needs to rely on getting the direction right. In fact, some of the best trading I've done in my career had nothing to do with direction, and it was direction neutral. All right, guys, on this note, I will leave it here. Once again, I showed it earlier. Please check out the panel from PorkFest. I don't believe my presentation from PorkFest was recorded, but you can catch that presentation on the Unconfiscatable Conference YouTube channel, and it was very, very similar. But Naomi Brockwell moderated the panel, and she posted it on her YouTube channel. Go ahead and check that out. The next 10 years of Bitcoin, myself, Jeffrey Tucker, and several other people. All right, guys, I will talk to you all on the next one. Goodbye from PorkFest. As you can see, everyone is wrapping up. This is where we were all week, and presentations took place right there behind the volleyball net in that giant airplane-looking hangar that is fully closed at the moment. All right, guys. I'll see you all maybe tonight for the law show and probably tomorrow before I head off to San Francisco to speak at another conference. Talk to you all later.